So, Mark, did you see that YouTube short about the scary hours in Las Vegas or any casino? Those 3 to 6 a.m. sort of people who have lost their mind, they've been there too long, and they're just sort of mashing the buttons and zombies.
Yeah, or they're like licking the screen and rubbing it and doing all kinds of. I mean, the crazy stuff comes out. I actually like gambling probably like 7 to 9 a.m. sitting at the tables because that's when all the crazies finally stumble to bed and you're there before the crowds get busy and it's more serious gamblers. So that's like my prime time. So this is like the end of that. If you get up too early or stay up too late, you get to see the craziness.
But if you love people watching and you love Las Vegas and casinos, it's a beautiful time to go watch people. You get people coming from the clubs, you get all the crazy gamblers. I don't know, those are sort of my people in the middle of the night.
The club exit while they're carrying their shoes is my favorite Vegas pastime at like 3:30 a.m.
We're just a few weeks away from the closure of Mirage, the permanent closure of Mirage, the historic mega resort on the Las Vegas Strip, turning into the Hard Rock in 2027. So we have a long way to wait, but we're learning some more. Shin Lim has finally released details. We knew he was moving to Venetian, but we found out he's going to Palazzo Theater at the Venetian, bringing his Limitless show over there starting in October. He did over 800 shows at Mirage.
Yeah, it's a crazy number because he hasn't been around all that long. And, he won. I think I was, started watching America's Got Talent like 2 or 3 years before he won. He was great on the show. And then he came back and won like the champion show, I believe. And he's just been doing great shows in Vegas. Always hear good things about it. But it's like, it's weird. You don't hear as much about the magicians, besides us and Chris Angel, but you don't hear as much about them as you do the other shows. And they just keep plugging along. And I assume his show's really, really well. I've always heard good things, and he was great on the TV show, up close magic type of stuff, really cool stuff.
It seems like his fate and Terry Fator's fate are headed in opposite directions. We talked about Terry Fator getting downgraded and downgraded again, and it seems like he's now going to Venetian, Shin Lim is, and getting something that's, equal in measure. So that's good to see him doing well. He just started in 2019, so he's relatively new to the Vegas scene, came from America's Got Talent. Yeah, it's good to see him being successful. Sad news, though, is that the tram connecting Mirage and Treasure Island is now permanently closed. We don't know if they plan to reopen it in 2027. I'm going to guess it's not going to happen, but it's already closed, unfortunately. My wife went there. She went and saw Love last week with a friend, and she was going to go take the tram, parked at TI. It was already closed then. And now it's officially closed. They shuttered it early. Why couldn't they just leave it open until the property's closed?
Did you use your BOGO ticket pass thing that you bought on Cyber Monday or whatever?
No, she had a friend who had bought a ticket and for her spouse, and he wasn't feeling well, so she went. So she gets to see it, and I don't. I don't know. I could still get a ticket, I suppose, but I imagine the demand for those last few weeks is pretty high.
So quick off the cuff update. How many times have you used that thing?
A couple times. I think 3 times so far. We still got like almost 4 years left, 3 years, 9 months. So we're doing good. So Shin Lim moving, the tram is closed. We're going to have all these stories coming in the next few weeks about the Mirage closing. It's going to be sad. It's really hard to say goodbye to 2 of these properties in the same year.
Yeah, and this one I think will hit people a little bit harder, like our generation. I know you grew up going to the Trop and all that as a kid, but Mirage is more like our age generation kind of kicked off Vegas. So I think this one will cut a little bit deeper. And I sad to say, I've been to Mirage and been to Treasure Island quite a few times between the 2 properties, and I've never taken the tram across between them. I always just walk outside. I don't know why that is, but I know that probably was used, and it's nice. We talked about the walkways last episode and how they were getting pulled out of Luxor and 30 Castle and all of that, and how that affects people. This will hurt, a little bit of mobility that way whenever it does reopen, and they're definitely not going to reopen it and share and have passengers hop on and leave their property easily. So I don't see that happening, but it's sad to see, but I never got to ride it. I'm not going to miss it, I guess.
I haven't ridden it in a while just because every time I've tried, it's been closed because they had very limited hours. I was there a few months ago and they closed at like 8 p.m. and I was there at like 8:15 or something. It was convenient for parking at TI because it was next to the garage, so then you could just take it over. But yeah, so now we're down to just 2 free trams on the Las Vegas Strip, the one in City Center and then the one that connects Mandalay Bay, Luxor, and Excalibur. We're down a train. We are once again partnering with Golden Nugget Online Casino today to share a really cool deal for MTM Vegas viewers. Golden Nugget Online Casino allows you to play so many of your favorite games right on your phone. All new customers who sign up with the promo code M2M and make a minimum $5 deposit will also get $50 in casino credits.
We've had Golden Nugget Casino here for a few years in Michigan, and it's one of the better apps to run. They have great games. They have Bloodsuckers, which is a really good payout game, and you get to kill some vampires, which is fun.
Yeah, Bloodsuckers is a really fun game. Once again, new customers can score this deal by using the promo code M2M and depositing $5. And that's it. Golden Nugget Online Casino has all of your favorite slots, including Cash Eruption and Fire Buffalo. Love me those Buffaloes. Plus some really cool exclusive games as well. Head over to the Golden Nugget Online Casino right now, and don't forget to use promo code M2M when signing up. Thanks to Golden Nugget Online Casino for sponsoring this video. So let's move over to Boulder Highway and Joker's Wild. This is an interesting casino. It's owned by Boyd Gaming, no hotel, just 600 slot machines, a fairly, I don't know, interesting space. Hopefully I'm showing video that I have from a visit a while back up there, but Boyd Gaming wants to expand this. Now, Boulder Highway, we'll talk later in the show about gaming numbers, isn't doing as good as some other areas when it comes to gaming revenue, obviously coming off of super highs following the pandemic. But this is a little bit of a different area. It's grown. The Cadence master plan is there, and they want to sort of expand it by building a new casino building, tearing down the old one, building a hotel over a couple of phases. This has been sort of in the plan since 2022, but it looks like Boyd might be moving closer to actually doing this.
Yeah, and it just kind of goes to see what we've seen with Durango and everything. Like everybody's refreshing the local casinos, building them up. There's a lot of market there, and we talked about the growth of Vegas last episode and housing and everything like that. Like there are pockets now that maybe 10 years ago didn't make sense, and they make more sense now. So it's good to see them considering spending some money in the neighborhood and building it out to a full-blown resort. And it's kind of like the Wildfire right now, but just a bigger version of it. This will be more of an experience, and maybe people will visit, friends or family live nearby, they could stay there, stuff like that. So it'll be cool to see what they come up with.
Yeah, this has always been a sort of budget locals casino, but that area has grown a lot. Cadence is a little bit nicer, so you could see maybe why the investment would make sense. It's pretty far from like Sam's Town and there are other properties. We should note that the cannery that they also own is still closed, been closed since March of 2020. So it's always interesting to cover this, and we'll keep you guys updated. So let's talk your favorite subject, pizza. And there's another list. There's always a pizza list, but this one is called 50 Top Pizza, and it comes from Italy, Mark. So you know it has to be good, right? Just the fact that it's from Italy makes it all.
Yeah, because they eat in America all the time.
Yeah, exactly. But two Las Vegas pizzerias made the list of the top 50 in the U.S. Pizza Rock at number 28 and Double Zero Pie and Pub at number 45. They serve that amazing looking Neapolitan pizza over near Chinatown. So Pizza Rock, very famous here. What's interesting, though, is I can never pronounce his name, but Tony, the guy who owns Pizza Rock, his restaurant up in San Francisco was number 2. So he's not giving us his best pizza, apparently.
That is strange. You think they'd be somewhat in the same ballpark, but maybe it's like ambiance and service and everything else is included, just not the pizza. And maybe that's where it falls off a bit. Different ideas or different type of restaurants. You'd have to check out both and see. But like you said, these lists are always come and go, and you take it with a grain of salt. But I always look at it as an option or an opportunity to check out new places that you might not have known about. Double Zero, I've loved that name forever, and I love it because Double Zero Roulette, and then Double Zero is also the flour that they use in Italy, and a lot of pizza places use Double Zero flour to make their pizza dough. So it's kind of like a double, meaning there. So that's cool, and I want to go there one time, check it out, eat it, and then walk down the street, go to Golden Tiki, have a drink. I think that's a perfect evening in Vegas.
Sounds good to me, and yeah, huge kudos to them. I mean, they're not really, we've talked about them, but they're not really on the scene. You don't hear them like you hear Pizza Rock and all those places like Secret Pizza and all the other stuff people talk about. For them to get on this list, a huge accomplishment, and congratulations to them. So I went to Rio this week, and we talked on the last show how they changed the globalist breakfast. Our experience with breakfast is a little bit different. They didn't have a dedicated dining room, but they have the new menu there. All is fine. We talked about that on the last show. But I finally got to check out the new carpet and see how it sort of looks spread out. And right now they have it in about half the casino. So for people who are familiar with the casino, where the food hall is, kind of near where the old buffet was, that whole side of the casino now has new carpeting. It's much lighter, it's much airier. And we talked about this tropical design, how it was a throwback. A lot of people said it was busy. It works really well when you kind of take in the whole change. And then once you go back to the other side of the casino, which is still dark, what a difference.
Yeah, I noticed that. And I noticed in your notes, you're like, ceilings feel higher. And I think a lot of that is just lightening up the carpet does help with that. It just feels more spacious when it's not that dark, maroon, reddish, dirty, red looking thing, and just kind of brings everything sadness into the space. This brings a little bit of color, pop, excitement. I still think it's a bit overwhelming in the areas, when you walk through and there's no machines around it or anything. But once you get up to it and it's, surrounded by games or bars or whatever, I think it works really well in the space.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful carpet. I don't think it comes across on camera or in pictures as nice as it is. I wasn't expecting that, all the little animals there. It's got even good padding, which is surprising when you walk on it. It feels nice. Just a huge upgrade from that maroon, ugly, dark stuff that they had before. So I was really happy to see that, and really happy to kind of see a vision for how this is going to look. There are some new areas under construction. And basically, as they bring something online, something else closes. So every time you walk through there, there's more construction walls or different construction walls. Obviously, the tavern opened. I got to see that, which we had talked about on a previous show. Another beautiful space. So you have the food hall, you have this tavern, kind of a vision of what this will all look like when it's done. And I think they're doing a good job. I mean, this really does feel like substantial changes, not just lipstick on a pig and Rio was a pig.
Yeah, it definitely was, and they let it run down, didn't put any money into it. So it's good to see that. The hotel rooms we've talked about, besides the steak table, I think they look pretty good for the market they're going for. Probably best in the low end affordable market, and they're bringing the casino kind of up there. I could see it being, when we were younger, there was certain place like the Strat was kind of the place you would go when you're in their, 20 to 21 to 25 age, stuff like that, like Hooters back in the day. I could see this filling that void where is it like the party pad or kind of the young person hangout. And I think that they're doing a good job to get it up to snuff that people would feel comfortable even if they're not in that crew.
So while we were there, Jasmine played a little bit, and she played one of those machines that has the 4 different slots in one, which she likes. And she hit this bonus on this machine called Rhino Charge, which we've hit before. And you can earn, up to like 1,000 free games depending on the line combinations of the bonus stuff. She earned 260 free games, which takes a long time. Now, to their credit, they give you an option of taking basically a random jackpot, or you could take 60 free games, which they say will pay more, or 260. And Jasmine's played this before, and she kind of got screwed when she took the less free game. So she decided to go the whole 260, which took like an hour. How much do you think she won?
I would have guessed like 250.
Yeah, and you already know, unfortunately, because I put it on there, but $47. So we sat there through stupid, like an hour's worth of dead spin after dead spin after dead spin for $47. But I wondered, like, I thought I'd ask people out there, what's their longest sort of bonus that they've ever gotten, the most amount of free games? And at some point, it's like torturous. I was like, if you ever get that again, you got to take the 60 games is her option for the reduced amount. But yeah, I'm sure that some people out there have gotten, hundreds and hundreds of games, but $47?
Yeah, I'm curious to see like the jackpot, or you just take the lump sum, if it ever is more, or they're saying like the more you do, the more you're gonna get, like it's guaranteed. So if she would have taken the cash out, would have been like $25, and the 60 games would have been like $35. I don't know. I wonder how it like the variance is there and what happens. But hell, I'd take the hour and just get like, $40, $50 worth of free drinks while I'm sitting there. There you go, Shawn. That's the way.
Yeah, we did, but it's just so many dead spins that after a while it gets tedious, but it is what it is. So yeah, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what your longest bonus is. And was it disappointing? Did you get a super long bonus where you made almost nothing? Yeah, let me know in the comments. So this September, Noche UFC is officially happening. Now, we knew the UFC secured the Sphere for September 14th for that weekend around Mexican Independence Day, but they didn't really announce any of the details, and it still hadn't been officially confirmed until now, and it is. And it's actually Riyadh season Noche UFC, because this is the first time that UFC has ever done a sponsorship partner. And so, yeah, that's a different thing as well.
I'm very excited for this to see what it looks like, and hopefully they get more sporting event type of things in there. We've talked about like hosting a draft there or something. I think it'd be really, really cool to have that up on the screen. And, we just had the NFL draft in Detroit, and it was pretty cool, but I think the Sphere would be even more unique and more interesting. And I think that this is going to be kind of epic. Maybe we could have some big boxing matches in there if this goes off. So I hope it goes really well. Hope it's well received. Hope everybody enjoys it. I mean, it's going to be kind of crazy watching the people fight and then having like the screen fill up with them fighting. I don't know. It'll be wild.
It will be, and Dana White's super excited. He said this will be one of the biggest sporting events of all time. What we're going to pull off at the Sphere will never be done again. This will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for sports fans. We've said that before. He said he's never going to do it again. I mean, why not do it again? He says it's going to be amazing. Let's hope that it's so amazing that they decide to do this often.
Well, he says that so he can charge $300 pay-per-view, and then he'll be like, "Oh wow, we made $1 billion. Let's go. Let's do this again."
Always the hype, right? He needs Don King out there hyping it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a good. It's good. I mean, the Sphere needs more stuff, and adding sporting events to it, getting somebody like Dana White and the UFC with all of their media muster, and this is just more good news, I think, for the Sphere. And I do like that display that they put on for the event as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it looked great, and I wish it was September right now. Let's go.
Well, it is still June, but we just got the May gaming numbers, Mark, and there's not a huge surprise here. Nothing that's too crazy. And we find that statewide, year over year, we're up about 4%. The Strip was up 2.9% in the month of May. So just very kind of incrementally increased numbers. And that's actually not bad. We had some months recently where we saw big drop-offs. That didn't happen on the Strip. Gaming numbers almost up 4%. So the Strip seems to really be outpacing everything, up 5% for year over year, which I know this is all confusing, but basically the Strip is doing a little bit better than everybody else. Everything else is incrementally up, except for your beloved Laughlin, which what happened last month?
Yeah, I
Down
saw that.
21%? That's nuts.
Yeah, maybe they just had like a record year, record month last year or something. I don't know. I think they're up a little bit on year over year, so maybe they just were plugging along last May or had some big event going on or something. But it is interesting to see that this year, like the Strip is outpacing. Last couple of years we saw like the Fremont area, the locals casinos outpace the Strip a bit and do a lot better, even though the Strip was doing really well. So it's interesting to see those areas dip down. I think North Lake Tahoe is doing the best for the month, but overall, year over year, it's pretty much the same as everything else. So it was interesting to see there. Maybe whatever was happening in Laughlin moved to North Tahoe. What do you think?
It had to be some holiday or something with Laughlin, because you're right, they're just marginally down year over year. So it's probably an event falling in one month versus the other. But so maybe we'll see really good June. Boulder Highway, we talked about it earlier, down 0.54% year over year. Had about 5% down last month. But this is a reason why we're not seeing Cannery come back online. Like I said, Joker's Wild in a different area. But yeah, I mean, things are looking great. I mean, if you own a casino, you see these numbers. As we keep going back and we look back 12 months, this is the single biggest 12 months of gaming revenue ever. You got to love it. I mean, the gaming companies have to love it. They're doing better than ever. People are gambling more than ever. And, what economy? Everybody says the economy is not good, but we see these numbers and they're still gambling like crazy.
Yeah, they're just going into debt or whatever. I don't know. But no, that's what's crazy. Like these places that were open in 2019 and we're like, oh, it's not as good as it was in 2022 or whatever, the big boom that we saw there. But it's still better than it was in 2018, 2019 when they were open. I know costs are higher. So maybe that's the issue, like inflation, everything, worker pay, everything's up, food costs. So maybe, even though gaming revenue's up, it's not pacing the same with the inflation that we're seeing. But the longer you wait, there's never going to be a perfect time to jump back in. Either, sell it or move on or open it back up.
But $1.32 billion is a huge number. We remember just a few years ago when it was a big deal. We were hitting $1 billion every month. 1.3 billion. When is it going to take it? We'll be at 1.5 soon enough. This industry is just growing, and that's why people want to be in Las Vegas. That's why people want to be in this industry. Super interesting stuff.
Yeah, $2 billion when Hard Rock opens. Calling it now.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. Those gaming numbers, long slot bonuses, Rio, all the looks there, top pizza, everything else we discussed in this show. Leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good weekend, everybody.